Hello everybody, welcome to another YouTube tutorial. Today I will show you exactly how to edit flash photos that were made with, in my case, Godox AD400 Pro. All this right after the intro. So, just recently I went to California to visit my very good friend Mike. He just bought the new GT500 in a beautiful spec, which you're going to see in the photos. Orange, gorgeous GT500. And I told him that it was my dream always to shoot a car in a desert. So we actually found a little dry lake / desert, and we went to make a couple of awesome images. One of these photos I'm going to use for today's tutorial, so bear with me. It's a little bit longer, 30 minutes, but if you really want to learn the workflow and the process how I do these things, I would advise you to check the whole thing. Alright, so we're in the Lightroom where I usually import my photos, and as you can see, there's a lot of exposures that I took with or without the flash, and I'm not going to work with all of them, just with the ones that I actually like. The first two are usually the most important two. Those two are the exposures where I rotate the filter. So you have this one and this one. Those are my base photos, and usually I take flash exposures with the same aperture and same shutter speed. What you can see here is in the top right corner, both of these photos, the base photos, are 1/50th of the second at f9, and every other flash photo is taken at the same shutter speed, 1/50th. This one, this one, this one, this one, they're all taken in the same shutter speed like the base photos without the flash. So this is something that I usually do. This is what makes my workflow easier, and I actually can make clean photos with where I don't have the sky or one part of the car or maybe the ground in a different exposure than every other layer. I'm going to select all of these photos, and I'm going to correct the lenses, which is already done. I already done that. Enable profile correction, and I'm going to transform if necessary, level, but in this case doesn't work, so I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to synchronize all these photos so that they all have the same settings. After that, right click on any of these shots and edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. So on top are the photos that we selected first in Lightroom, and these are the two layers with just the CPL rotation. I'm going to name them base and base 2. The other ones are all flash layers. So we're going to name the flash layers like front, front 2, side, side 2, rear, and diffuser. Awesome. Now what I'm going to do is select all layers. I'm going to go to Edit and Auto Align. It's just going to make sure that all the layers are aligned, because even though when you're using the tripod it can happen. It can happen that the photos are not perfectly aligned. So what Photoshop does for you is like make that immaculate, perfect. There you go. Next thing what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these two layers at the bottom, base and base 2, and I'm gonna put the flash layers from bottom to the top. I'll explain later why. Alright, let's start from the base and base 2. So you can see the obvious difference in these two photos, and I'm going to do is make a mask on the layer that actually cuts the reflections. I'm going to make a mask, select the brush, select the black color, and sorry, I'm going to come here to hardness, bring the hardness up to a little bit, 30%, flow all the way to 100. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to bring out the layer below. And it's going to show a little bit more light on the wheels. Same thing for the rear. Fix this a little bit. Awesome. See the difference? Nice. Let's bring out the diffuser. Not much, a little bit. And let's see, maybe the deck lid and the wing. You could be more precise with this if you use the pen tool, but what I realized is that people are disgusted with pen tool, and as soon as they hear me saying use the pen tool, they get discouraged or something. So I'm going to do this all without a pen tool. I mean, it is a simple photo anyway. Awesome. Let's see, anything else? I like how the rear window looks like. Maybe the roof. Yep, more color here. Don't worry about the leak. I'm gonna fix that later. Gives it a little blue tint. Awesome. Let's fix this. Not very precise, but I'm trying to do this really quickly. Same thing here. All right. Let's see. I mean, I could do this, but I think it blends in too much. I'll leave it black. Oh, definitely the snake. Nice. I think that's fine. Oh yeah, right over here. Make the flow a little bit lower. Let's go to 20%. I'm going to bring out the mountains here in the background. And maybe this, nope, a bit like that. I think that we're done with this. Awesome. Alright, so on to the next layer, which is a flash layer. I'm gonna turn it on and set it to lighten, and it's gonna bring out only the parts that are brighter than the previous layer. I'm gonna make a mask, and I'm gonna invert this mask with Command Invert on iMac. I'm not sure on the PC. I forgot, to be honest. Switch the brush to white, and I'm going to bring out. Let's bring this down to 20%. And I'm going to bring out everything that is brighter on the flash layer. On the car, of course. Let's see what we did here. All right. Perfect. Front 2. Set up to lighten. Make a mask. Command Invert. And we're going to do the same thing. As you can see, the car is starting to pop, which is the whole point of the flash. It gives it that nice commercial look. Nice. Next one. Lighten. Make a mask. Invert. And same thing. Already looking good. Another one. Lighten, mask, command invert, and bring out the brighter area. Perfect. Very simple photo, as you can see. It actually wouldn't be simple if you don't take the proper exposures and point the flash properly into the car. But this is not the video about how to light the car, just how to edit. Rear, set to lighten, make a mask, invert, and we'll bring out everything on the back of the cart. I don't like this. Sorry. I think that's it. Yep. And one more, diffuser. Mask, invert. And let's bring out the diffuser, but I'm not going to use the 100% of the layer because as you can see, the sun is coming from this direction, so there's no point. It doesn't look natural to have everything evenly lit on the car. So for the diffuser, I'm going to bring down the opacity of this layer a little bit. Let's say 36%. Just gonna have that little detail inside. I can bring that out in Camera Raw as well. But yeah, I don't like to make everything on the car look evenly lit because it doesn't look very natural. So sun is coming from here. Back of the car should not be lit that much. I think that's it when it comes to the layers. Yep. Awesome. What I'm going to do now is put it all on one layer. I'm going to select the last layer, Shift Option Command E, and it's all going to be on one layer. And I'm going to call this base in big letters, and I'm going to select the red color. I'm going to put all this in a group. Set this to violet. Cool. So we have a group here that just doesn't confuse us. All the lighting layers and all those lighting layers connected on one, which I'm calling base. Now I'm going to make another layer, copy of this, Command J. I'm going to call it Camera Raw. So what I need to explain here is why I'm going to Camera Raw filter right away is because I want to make color adjustments, highlights and shadows before I start cloning things out. You don't want to clone before you go into the, or I mean do the cleanup before you go into the Camera Raw, because it actually might change the exposure of the car or in certain areas. So I usually always do Camera Raw first. So filter and Camera Raw filter, and you're going to see that in Camera Raw I really do minor adjustments. I do not edit too much. I do not add too much of adjustments, because I'm a firm believer that the more you move these sliders, the more you take away from the photo itself, which is why it's really important that you do as much as possible in camera. So when I say in camera, I mean that when you're at the location, try not to have things sticking out behind the car, have the reflections on the car. Spend as much time as possible shooting the car rather than editing the car. Something that I learned a while ago, and it's been serving me really well. So in Camera Raw, first thing I'm going to do is go to geometry and straighten the photo. In this case it does not work, so it's already straight. Then I go to basics, and in this case I'm gonna lower the temperature a little bit, maybe to -8, and maybe add a little bit of a tint, just a touch of contrast, say at 8. Highlights I'm gonna bring all the way down. Shadows, maybe a little bit. No, there's no need actually. We can fix that with 50% gray later. Maybe +8. Whites, I'm gonna add maybe a little bit. +4. Blacks I'm not gonna touch. Clarity, let's see. Let's leave it at 15. Like I said, very minor adjustments. It already has that commercial look, and I'm just gonna enhance that a little bit more with 50% gray and color adjustments later. But for now, I think that's it. Curves, I'm not gonna touch much. Detail, definitely. I'm gonna press Option, hold the Option, and move the masking slider to see where exactly I'm gonna be sharpening. And we want to sharpen only the lines, not the inside of the car. So for example, you don't want to sharpen this, you would rather you want to sharpen the lines. So when you hold the Option, everything that is white is going to be sharpened, and everything that is black will not be sharpened. So let's say I'm going to hold it here at 70 and bring out the sharpening adjustment to, let's see, keep it at 66 is enough. And then what I'm going to do is reduce the noise a little bit. Probably, let's keep it at 18. Alright, it's already looking good. Color mixer, luminance, maybe. I don't want to touch the orange as much. I want to keep this Ford color as natural as possible, as real as possible. But maybe I'll remove a little bit of a saturation from the yellows, from the floor, and maybe I'm gonna darken the yellow a little bit. Play with luminance. Awesome. I'm gonna add some blue, and I'm gonna darken it with luminance to -15. Awesome. So as you can see, very minor adjustments. I didn't even use the graduated filter. Maybe we can, let's see how it looks, to bring down the exposure. No, I don't want to do that. Too much. That's very Instagrammy, not real. So I'm gonna keep it at 0, and I'm definitely gonna change this. I'm gonna add some texture to the floor. Yep, I love those creases. How the floor looks in the desert, it's really cool. I think that's it. Awesome. I'm gonna press OK and go back to Photoshop. And as you can see, the camera overall there, not a dramatic change. There's no need for it because everything was done right in the camera. So the photo is, I would say, pristine. I mean, not perfect, but we did not ruin it that much. I'm going to Command J, copy this layer, and type in cleanup. Change the color to green, and I'm going to remove stuff like little dust marks here on my sensor. As you can see it here, maybe here. I'm gonna use a patch tool for that. Alright, perfect. Cleanup done. Adjustment layers. The next thing we're going to do is play with the color. I'm going to go to selective color, and I'm going to start with the neutrals. Maybe add a little bit of just a little bit of cyan. Let's go to +1. Magenta, just a little bit, +2. Yellows, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue to the yellows. Actually, I'm not gonna touch it here. And blacks, I'm gonna darken it a little bit. Then into the black color, again, not too much cyan, maybe +1. Magenta, I'm going to add a little bit of magenta here. Let's go to +3. Yellows, I'm going to -2. Blacks, let's do +1. White, is gonna be mostly here, so let's see what we can do. I don't think I'm gonna touch this too much. Nope. We're gonna leave the whites as it is. Maybe add a little bit of blue to the yellows by sliding the yellow the opposite direction. I think that's enough. I hope you can see the difference. Definitely looking commercially. I'm gonna patch this part here. I feel like I didn't brush this out perfectly because I didn't use the pen tool. Alright, I think that's fine. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of more sun glare, and I'm going to open a new layer. I'm going to call it sun. Switch this to blue color, and what I'm going to do is take a brush, make it a little bit bigger, much bigger, like this. Bring the hardness, let's do 20%, let's see how it looks. Sorry, switch to white color with the X button, and I'm gonna add it here. And what I want to do is put it all the way in the corner, so I'm gonna select the whole layer with Command T and move it around. Let's put it somewhere here and spread it out a little bit right over here. Confirm, and then I'm gonna bring down the opacity a little bit. Even more. Let's give it a 44%. I'm gonna make it wider. Again, Command T. Bring it all the way here. Alright, I'm not gonna paint the sun whatsoever. I'm just gonna keep it white. I'll make a little mask here and switch the brush to black and bring down the flow to 9%. I'm gonna push it back a little bit, maybe once or twice, like this. I don't want to touch it. I don't want it touching the car too much. Just a little bit. Awesome. I think that's perfect. Next thing we're gonna do is one of the most important parts, and it's a new layer, which I'm going to and I'm going to call it a 50% gray. 50% gray. Gray or GREY? I'm not sure. I'm going to edit and fill with 50% gray, and I'm going to set the blend mode to overlay. Select my brush, white brush in this case, bring the flow down to 9%, hardness to 10%, and I'm just going to bring out those highlights on the car, for example, wheels, the caliper, maybe the tires a little bit, definitely the snake, side skirt a little bit. Doesn't have to be too much. Let's see these highlights. Too much. Let's bring the flow to 4%. Like that. Awesome. Same thing here. Same thing here. It's a very minor adjustment, but it makes a big difference in the end. Diffuser, exhaust tips, absolutely. Here, maybe a little bit deck lid. Very subtle, nothing too extreme. Awesome. Maybe I'll darken the window a little bit. Switch to black. Bring up the hardness to 50%. And let's do this. Alright, let's see what we did. Very subtle, but it makes a huge difference. I'm gonna play a little bit with mountains in the background. Flow 4%, same hardness. I'm gonna bring out the mountains again. Same thing here. Too much. I'm gonna do the foreground a little bit like this. Very nice. 50% gray, done. Let's add a little bit of a dust. New layer, I'm gonna call it dust. Switch the color to yellow, whatever, doesn't even matter. I'm going to take the brush, switch it to white color, flow all the way to 100%, hardness to 0, and I'm going to make a pull from here to here, just like this. And next thing I'm going to do is make a mask, switch it to black, bring the flow to 80%, and let's take out stuff above the car. I'm gonna bring the opacity of the whole layer down a little bit. Not bad. Maybe a little bit more. And I'm gonna remove a little bit of dust from here. I think that's enough. Very subtle, very simple. Maybe from here a little bit. Keep that. And there you go. I think that's it.